In the cold expanse of space, there were worlds where beings of unimaginable power and intelligence flourished, beings who considered themselves above all others. Zorith was one such world, home to a society of perfect beings who prided themselves on their strength, intelligence, and superiority. To them, weakness was not just a flaw, it was a crime. Those who were deemed unworthy were cast aside without mercy, left to perish in the harshest corners of the universe. It was on Zorith that a woman named Lyra gave birth to 2 children, both of whom were born with significant physical deformities. Lyra, though strong and capable, was a product of a world where perfection was worshipped, and her children were born into a society that could not fathom imperfection. Her son, Dar, had scales that covered his entire body, making him resemble a reptilian creature. Her daughter, Zira, was born with a pair of wings that were too small and underdeveloped to ever fly. In the eyes of Zorith, these children were not worthy of life. Lyra's heart ached as she gazed at her children, knowing they would never be accepted by the world they were born into. She had always been an outcast herself, a woman who had never fully fit into the rigid society of Zorith. She had hoped her children would be different, but fate had been cruel. One day, Lyra stood before the Council of Zorith, the ruling body of the planet. They sat in their cold, imposing thrones, their eyes glowing with disdain as they looked upon her children. Lyra's voice quivered as she spoke, her desperation evident. "They are my children. They deserve a chance to live," she pleaded, her voice breaking. "Please show mercy." The council's leader, a tall and imposing figure named Zarek, spoke with a voice that sent chills down Lyra's spine. "Mercy is for the weak, Lyra. Your children are a blight on our world. They will never achieve perfection. They have no place here. They are a stain on our society." Lyra's heart shattered as they turned their backs on her and her children. They were cast out, exiled from Zorith without a second thought. It was then that she realized the cruelty of their world. The people of Zorith cared only for strength and beauty, and anything that didn't fit their perfect image was discarded like garbage. With nothing left, Lyra and her children boarded an old, dilapidated ship, the only vessel she could afford. She knew that without a place to go, they were doomed. But she refused to give up. She would find a way to give her children a future, even if she had to do it alone. Days turned into weeks as they drifted through the cold void of space, the ship barely holding together. The supplies were running out, and Lyra could see the fear in her children's eyes. They had grown weak from hunger, and Zira's wings had begun to wither. Lyra knew they couldn't survive much longer without help. But where could they go? Where could a mother and her children find refuge in a galaxy full of beings who saw them as nothing more than mistakes? As if fate had answered her prayers, a strange ship appeared on the horizon. It was unlike anything she had ever seen, sleek, metallic, and radiating a warm, welcoming light. Lyra's heart skipped a beat as the ship drew closer, its engines humming with life. She didn't know if it was a friendly ship, but she had no choice but to hope. The ship's communication system crackled to life, and a voice boomed from the speakers. "This is the Salvation. We've detected your vessel. Prepare for boarding." Lyra's eyes widened in shock. The ship was real. It was actually offering them help. The Salvation docked beside her ship, and the airlock opened. Lyra hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to expect, but she knew they had no choice. They had to take this chance. As she and her children stepped into the airlock, they were greeted by a human, tall, broad-shouldered, and wearing a military uniform. His face was stern, but there was something in his eyes that made Lyra feel an overwhelming sense of relief. He didn't look at her children with disdain or pity. Instead, he looked at them with curiosity and compassion. "I'm Captain Elias Grant," the man said in a calm, steady voice. "We've been tracking you. We received your distress signal." Lyra bowed her head, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness. "Thank you. Thank you so much." Captain Grant nodded, his expression softening. "No need to thank me. You're safe now." The humans aboard the Salvation were unlike any beings Lyra had encountered before. They were not obsessed with perfection. They didn't judge her children based on their appearance or abilities. Instead, they welcomed them with open arms, offering food, medical care, and a place to rest. Over the following days, Lyra learned more about Captain Grant and the Salvation crew. They were part of an organization dedicated to helping those in need, regardless of their origins or appearances. They didn't care about perfection or strength. They cared about compassion and helping those who were left behind by cruel societies like Zorith. It was on the Salvation that Lyra found the hope she had long been searching for. The humans saw potential in her children. They didn't see them as flawed or broken. They saw them as individuals, each with their own unique qualities. There was given the chance to train as a mechanic, using his sharp mind and his scales to navigate the inner workings of the ship. Zira, despite her underdeveloped wings, was taught how to fly a small shuttle, her determination and spirit making up for her physical limitations. For the first time in their lives, Lyra's children were given the chance to thrive. They weren't treated as outcasts or mistakes. They were given the tools to succeed and to forge their own paths. As the days turned into months, Lyra and her children became part of the crew. They traveled together, helping those who were stranded or in need, always moving forward with a sense of purpose. They had found a family among the humans, a family that valued them for who they were, not for what they lacked. One day, as Lyra watched her children work side by side with the crew, her heart swelled with pride. She had been rejected by her own people, cast aside like a broken tool. But in the vast expanse of space, she had found a new home, a place where she and her children were accepted, loved, and given a second chance. As Captain Grant walked by, he gave Lyra a knowing smile. "You've done well," he said, his voice filled with warmth. Lyra's eyes welled with tears, and she nodded. "We've all done well," and for the first time in her life, Lyra felt truly free.